discussion.
No problem.
Welcome to all, and I would like to thank for all. Doctor, I would like to request Dr. Indira Satke for the meaning of this meeting. Indira ma'am.
Hello everybody.
Please mention the agenda.
Basically, we have been trying to reach out to SNV since a couple of months back. We here represent the Green Inclusive Energy, under which RECON is also a partner. It represents the private sector engaged in the renewable energy sector. And in course of our project, we have been carrying out different activities such as awareness building for the grassroots, sensitization at the topmost level of the government decision-making bodies, and then also capacity building of not only the partners and the potential beneficiaries, but also capacity building of the local government who are under the now under the new government system, mandated with the responsibilities of implementing renewable energy technologies. And in course of this, we find we have a learning which specifically highlights the issues concerning the private sector in terms of them being recognized, acknowledging the work that they are doing, and also they have several challenges on the way because of the ups and downs in the way the policies are. Every year the plans are changing, and also they have lots of technical and financial difficulties. So we were reaching out to several organizations. In course of that, SNV is also one of them. And today's agenda is to understand how the private sector has been engaging in presently, as well as to understand about SNV's renewable energy sector, and identifying areas where we can partner with each other for the benefit of the people who will be using the technology. It could be working on capacity building, it could be working on influencing the policy, and several other agendas that can come. So we can identify those areas and move ahead. So I would like to give the floor to SNB to give us a little bit of highlight on their renewable energy programs. And we would also like to hear how you are engaging yourself with the private sector, as well as how you are integrating the gender and social issues in the renewable energy programs that you are implementing. Thank you.
Thank you. Shall I go first, and then we can go to the renewable energy team?
Dr. Indira Satke is the advisor of Renewable Energy Confederation and the project manager of GIE project, Green and Inclusive Energy. And Mr. Vishwabhushan Amate is also the advisor of Renewable Energy Confederation. Amate sir, please explain what we are going to discuss today with the SNB.
Amate sir? Amate sir?
Yes, thank you. I was mute. Yeah, as usual, Gunji has given me this responsibility or task to explain without pre-informing, so it's difficult. But nonetheless, what we have been doing in RECON currently is a few agenda that we are pursuing. One is to delve deep into the renewable energy financing is one very important topic that we are looking after, for which we have been conducting various discussions and also trying to connect various stakeholders involved in renewable energy financing as well as renewable energy entrepreneurs and projects in Nepal, for which we have made connections with organizations like PFAN, Infra, and all those various companies. Along with, we also have a lot of discussions with APC and also with CREF, and also the CREF's partner, CREF organizing bank, that is NMB Bank, and also other partner banks. So we have been doing discussions with all the necessary or the relevant partners on how we can, push private sector initiatives, upscale private sector initiatives with the help of RE financing mechanism that is available in country, as well as some possible assistance that we can collect or we can get from the global arena. That's one part we are very strongly pursuing. And another thing is we are also looking at possibilities of how renewable energy, private sector involved in renewable energy come together and provide necessary inputs to government time and again whenever the opportunity becomes available. For example, when the approach paper for 15th development plan of Nepal was published, and we as a RECON, we brought together all of our private sector friends or from different associations, and also brought experts together, and we analyzed and discussed the approach paper on the renewable energy development or upscaling purpose. And we came up with numbers of lacunas, shortcomings in the approach paper, and we provided necessary suggestions and comments on that, and that we delivered directly to the National Planning Commission's Vice Chairman, and also the member responsible for energy, like this Dr. KP Woli, as well as Mr. Connell. That and similar activities we were involved recently with another bill for Parliament that has been prepared by Ministry of Energy, Water Resources and Irrigation on establishment of renewable energy promotion center, which would be replacing a current APC if everything goes as planned. And that there also we had a number of, although the time available for giving comments was only 7 days, we were able to convene the private sector and the other experts in this sector, and we prepared our comments and gave very comprehensive inputs and identified, lacunas or the things that needed to really reflect in the document like REPC Act. And those are the two different kinds of things that we were very strongly involved. And third thing, again, RECON has been very strong in trying to, be part of the GIE project, that is Greening Inclusive Energy Access in Nepal project. And we're looking at how private sector can contribute to the cause from, not only as a service provider, not only as an equipment provider, but also and become a partner in ensuring, the inclusiveness in the various projects. I think those are the three key areas, apart from our, minor initiatives like how private sector can come into energy for agriculture and energy for growth, energy for sanitations, waste management. And those are other aspects that we are very interested, and we have time and again we were able to convene experts and do workshop and seminar, although we have not been able to achieve a lot of things on those, but we really plan to, we really are willing and want to achieve solid and make solid contribution to the renewable energy sector as a RECON. Gunraji, like if you want to add any further on that, please do that.
Yeah, thank you so much for very good information about RECON and RECON's activity. And I just want to add one thing is RICON is also conducting energy for the employment creations. That is also one of the added advantage. And we are conducting series of discussion, fruitful discussion between the organization, government agency, non-government agency, development partner, individual, expert, for the betterment of the utilization of the renewable energy. I think this is on RICON, and I would like to request Amy Raja for the SNV Nepal. What is upcoming program, and what is when, and what is the possible partnership for the collaboration with RICON for lobby advocacy and everything. Amy Raja.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks so much. You can, and I'm just Amy, so you can just call me Amy, it's fine. Lovely. Thanks so much for setting this meeting up and reaching out to us. It's always great to talk to other organizations supporting the work that we're trying to achieve, especially you'll see globally that SNV is very committed to renewable energy. So it's one of our growth areas, and we have some very good expertise in looking at creating markets for renewable energy and also the productive use of energy, which speaks to the gender and social inclusion aspect, reaching those that are underserved or not served at all by the grid. Yeah, it's very happy to have this conversation. I will hand over to our energy team, Sebastian Biplav, shortly, about the programs that we're overseeing and implementing in Nepal, and some of the work that we're doing with the private sector, because that's an important part. The market development part is always important for us in terms of sustainability. I'd be interested to know, because I understand that RICON is to some extent a network that brings together different the private sector, and then talks to different stakeholders to create some type of synergy and overcome issues, which is always, it's important. In terms of, I'd be interested to know, but maybe we can talk about this later. What is it specific? Is there specific? How do you understand the issues that the private sector are facing? And are you sort of a broker between, for example, if the private sector is facing issues, their regulatory issues or their distribution and quality issues, do you then, are you a bridge then to the government body that oversees those that market? And also, how do you bring in other international organizations like ours who essentially implement programs and create solutions for some of the challenges, also working with those government organizations? So there's some of the kind of more specific parts, which I'd be really interested to understand how it really works. Yes, but I will hand over to our renewable energy experts, Biplav, Subhash, to give a very brief overview of our projects in Nepal, and at a later date we can also share kind of what we do globally in terms of renewable energy. I saw from your website there's some reference to biodigesters, and of course SNV, way before my time, has a very long history in biodigesters. So that's I think probably at the forefront of everybody's mind when they think about SNV. Subhash or Biplav, over to you for a brief overview of our two renewable energy projects.
Yeah, thank you, Amy. Let me go first, because I know Biplav has a little bit more to share, especially when it comes to the private sector development in the RE project that we are doing currently in Nepal. So as you have rightly mentioned, market development has been always key for SNV in terms of if you look at from the sustainability point of view, or creating a strong supply chain on what we do. And there is a very good example of biogas that SNV started in Nepal, which was a key success and is a key success. So from that aspect, definitely SNB not only consider the private sector, but also building the capacity at the local or subnational level, so that the activities that we have started could be taken, and there will be someone to look after it and for the sustainability point of view. So for the blending, as Gurra sir mentioned, and also VV sir mentioned, the energy for agriculture, because SNB is currently focused in three major sectors, which is agriculture, energy, and was, and definitely we do have other cross-cutting sectors as well. But in the three sector, energy is blending with both other remaining. For example, energy for agriculture, energy for was, and not we don't have any specific project for now in Nepal for energy with for agriculture, but we definitely have some projects in the African countries. And if Recon is interested, then definitely we could provide some sort of knowledge product, how that things are happening and what is the advantage of blending these two sectors. And similarly for the energy for wash, there are some solar powered hand washing stations during this COVID pandemic in African countries, and some other things to learn as well. For the in Nepal also, like we started with the biogas, then improve water mill, that was also more focused to the private sector, the capacity building of the private sector. And it's not in a big scale or big picture, but we did a small electrification project that includes micro enterprise development, basically for the promoting the agriculture products, like the grinding, hauling things. So how could we mix electrification together with the micro enterprises in the remote villages? So that is also a small example that we can.
Sebastian, I lost you.
Sorry, can you hear me now? Hello.
Yes, we can hear you. Please proceed.
Yeah. Thank you. So yeah, that's a activity. And as Kundra sir also mentioned about the youth employment, SNV has one nice cross-cutting sector. I must say, the opportunity for the youth employment. So we also call OIE in a short. So this is not specific to the sector, but definitely when we think of like expanding the electrification in some area, then there might be some potential for the youngsters to get some enterprises, or to start up some small scale enterprises or like that. So same thing can happen with the agriculture sector and was. So SNV also has that like good knowledge product for opportunities for the youth employment. If Recon is interested, then maybe we can like work more on getting knowledge from that, like how it works and how we can implement that thing in Nepal here. So these are the basic, and I think people maybe can describe more on the one of our another key current RE activities that we are doing here in Nepal, and that is somehow more relevant to the private sector development or like such.
Okay, thank you, Subhas. Yes, just to continue with what Subhas started, I will be discussing more about the current project that SNB is implementing. The project is all about energy financing and capacity building at the local level. So there are 2-3 distinct components in this project. Basically, the first one is about mainstreaming commercial financing in renewable energy project. So that is one of the key component. For that component, what we are doing, I would like to explain in very short. We are partnering with NME Bank. NME Bank is our partner, and then what we are doing is we are developing a mechanism where partner commercial bank will be happy to invest in energy projects through this credit guarantee mechanism. We have certain fund. Using that fund, we will provide credit guarantee, and then this commercial bank, not only NME Bank, but then any local bank, local financial institute, or a cooperative, if they like, they can be tied up with this credit guarantee mechanism, and then they can get wholesale lending from NME Bank, but they have to invest in a renewable energy project. So renewable energy project also, there are 2-3 different areas that we are targeting. One is direct investment in bigger renewable energy project like mini grids or bigger institutional biogas or such kind. And second one is about this wholesale lending. We want to provide wholesale lending to microfinance institutes and cooperatives so that they can do demand congregation, and then they can provide commercial lending to smaller projects as well, but in a group. And third one is a bit interesting, maybe interesting to reckon as well. The third one is about vendor financing. All the vendors who are currently working in energy sector and who are interested to work in Karnali province, basically, because the project is focused in Karnali province. So if any energy vendor wants to really invest in energy sector in Karnali area, then they are also eligible to get this kind of lending from our partner bank. So this is one component of that project, and another component is about capacity building. The capacity building at the local and provincial level. That is our target. For that, again, then we are taking support from private sector. So basically, it is about technical assistance provider. The general idea is that there is a huge capacity gap at the provincial and local level. So what we are doing is currently we are in the process of identifying, doing assessment of all the local levels at the Karnali province. After that assessment, we will identify the capacity need gaps, and then based on that gap, we will develop capacity building plan, and then that plan will be tied up with the private sector. Basically, the idea is to identify private sector at the provincial level, in Karnali level, and then capacity this private sector using the national service providers. All these national service providers are those, for example, just an example is, in case of mini hydro, micro hydro, we might reach out to micro hydro development institution, for example. For biogas, we might reach out to NVPA or similar organization. So just in general, uh, we are thinking of getting very much involved with private sector at the central level so that they can provide technical assistance support to the private sector at provincial level, establishing a market at the provincial level. That's the general idea. We want to create the market for technical assistance at the provincial level. So this is one another component. And third one is the general RE promotion component. The idea is to support the initiative of provincial government to promote renewable energy activities from the provincial level, not at the central level. So these are two, three distinct components. And we see a lot of opportunity to collaborate with federation like RACON, who is umbrella organization of all other technology independent organization like NMSDA, biogas, solar, whatever. So yeah, that is in brief what we are doing at this moment. Thank you.
Thanks, Sebastian Biplaf. Fantastic overview.
Yeah. And Swetchaji, have you any?
I think everything else is covered. So yeah, we can just go with other
Okay.
agenda. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
I had a question. To both Biplavji and Dhakalji. There was a time when you were also working on improved cook stoves. I believe you had conducted some pilot project in the Sundarijal area. Sundarijal and I think Shivapuri area. Are you still continuing with the improved cook stoves, or have you left it behind?
Let me answer this one. Yeah, definitely. We do have this small component with NDEF support where we are working on increasing access to the clean energy or improved energy, we must say, in the province 6 and 7, Karnali and Sudar Paschim. So in this project, we have target of generating 90 kilowatt of electricity through the Pico Hydro. So we will be focused on the small scale schemes, and target will be definitely the core remote areas where there is no grid supply, there is no chances of grid supply in the medium term at least, and there is no other opportunity like solar mini grid or such. So this is one target, and we also have target of the distributing tier 2 and above quality cookie stoves in total 5,000 in these provinces. So this is the new, ongoing project we are doing with NDEF support that is focused on the technology. And for the cookie stove, you have mentioned that was the ICF project which SNV did in Far West in 2012. And especially for the Sundarijal and that area. So it was together with IUCN, where they were interested to do some piloting in the buffer zone. And we also did same testing in the Khoptad buffer zone area, where IUCN people were also there. And yeah, we provided technology assistance, technology support, and because we didn't have any restriction on the working area, as that was the like whole far western province we were doing cookie stop. So if an IUCN asks like maybe we can implement that in the buffer zone, then yeah, we did some assessment and we found it good, and then we also distributed some stuffs in that buffer zone area. That was together with IUCN. So that program is over now. We are no longer doing that activity, but for now we do have another ICS program with 5,000 cookie stoves target. And mainly these will be the private sector manufactured or imported portable cookie stoves. So that meets the NIBC criteria and other criterias for the efficiency and other parameters that we are looking for. Yeah,
does this also include the electric stoves, electric induction stoves?
Yeah, we during the discussion with NDEV, as NDEV also it's very yesterday we had that Timal village sharing in the induction cookie stove. So NDEV is already in the induction cookie stove, and they would love to hear more on the acceptability or the other scenarios relevant to the induction cookie stove. So during our meeting with the NDEV, we said maybe we can try not whole, but at least 10% of the total target, just to see the readiness of the people in this area, and the institutional setup, like whether the electricity infrastructure in the remote households or in the area where we are targeting our activities are good enough to control, to hold those induction cooker like such. So we are doing like a pilot, not in a very big figure, but definitely there will be few induction cooktops will be distributed, and that is also for the program coverage aspects and also for the learning aspects, just to see the acceptability level and other things related to those induction cooktops and cooking.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gunnar sir, your mic is off.
Thank you so much for the very nice information about the SNV activity, what they are doing, and we are also trying to conduct such types of activity like RE for agriculture and cookie stoves also for the piloting, and we are also focusing for our works in the pilot projects in Karnali province, and we are also thinking about that. That's why we appreciate your activity, and we are also ready to provide any kind of support if you need. And Amartya sir, if you have any questions, please.
The question I had was already answered by Biplav on chat box. So thank you, Biplav.
Okay, thank you, Biplav sir, for the, and if you any Raja, any suggestions? And
not suggestions, I guess. My just two things. One is that I was interested to understand how you connect with the private sector, and in which forums, and how do you pull out all of what their issues are, for example, and how could we understand through you what the private sector challenges are in renewable energy. So I know that you are a network and working lots of different private organizations. So I just wondered how you consult with them, and also how you consolidate the knowledge in terms of what the challenges they face are. And we also work with the private sector and trying to overcome some of those challenges.
Thank you for your suggestions, and we already know about the SNV activity during the biogas support program, in Nepal, and very thankful to you in your activity. And RECON is the umbrella organization of the private sector, and we are trying to find the best innovative investment model for the investment of new upcoming programs by learning from the past experience. And we are also supporting for the institutional strength, existing in institutional strength, and now all the authority for the renewable energy program is under the local government, and the central government and provincial government are also supporting. So this is the very transitional time, so we need to focus for the try to find the investment modality in the rural and remote area. So we are trying to find the innovative investment model for the access to finance in the remote area and private sector. So Dr. Indira Sakya, please summarize this meeting. And
Amy's, just in response to Amy's question regarding the how RECON consolidates the different aspects, the aspects of the different other private sector organization, is that it's just an understanding the different renewable energy technologies are being implemented by different private sectors. And each of those specific technologies have an association, which you must be aware of. And RECON represents the associations itself. So it's even above the individual associations. And since it is represented by the officiating chairperson or the presidents of these different associations, it is it well represents the whole sector. And that is how they come under one umbrella to discuss about the issues, raise the issues, and also advocate and lobby where necessary. So, and it's a registered organization. It's not a loose thing. It's registered, so it has its own accreditation when it comes to working with the government, and also working with the donors as well. So this is how RECON operates. And it has been around 4 years now since RECON is in operation. And in the body, it has advisor. It has a member of advisors who come from different disciplines. Disciplines not in terms of some are from the social background, some are academicians, but somehow related with the renewable energy sector itself. So I hope that is clear to you, Amy. My one question that still remained unanswered was how the gender and social issues are being integrated in your programs. Though I do have a slight understanding, since I undertook the study the GESI integration aspects of the RERA project that you are implementing in the Far West. And are you still continuing with that, or have you added additional dimensions to how you integrate it? And are you going to continue with those agendas related to gender and social inclusion?
Thank you. Sure. Sebastian, do you want to, I know I just read a report where we were talking about gender and social inclusion on the NDEF project. And do you have anything to share on the specifics of how we look at that dimension of access to energy? I know that it's an important part of our work in terms of who has access, and then on the other side, how that access is translated into productive use. So there's many gender and predominantly gender aspects to that on the productive use side.
Oh, good.
Yeah, thank you, Amy. And just to add one more additional point, because as we mentioned, our program is focused on Karnali province and the Far West province, which are basically the lower side in terms of human development index and like poverty and such things. So definitely how we define social injustice. So from that aspect also we can say that the preference that SNV is giving through its program, the implementation area, definitely these are the much needed area that needs this type of intervention to support the people from the rural areas to get access to the energy. And of course, when it comes to the cookie stove, then the primary beneficiaries are the women, because as we measure them from the firewood collection, or the person who cooks meal in the kitchen and all those things. And for the this electrification plus micro enterprises. So as I said, our small scale electrification projects also provide micro enterprise and agriculture processing like hauling and grinding. So that's are a bit efficient comparing the traditional mode of doing such business. So yeah, from these aspects, definitely our focus of the program activity will be how we can enhance the access of the women and the socially uh, excluded or marginalized people to get the access and benefit from the program that we do. Thank you.
Thank you, Subhashji, and thank you,
Thank you.
me. And I think this is very fruitful meeting. If you have any, Vishnu sir, otherwise I will going to close the meeting. Vishnu sir, I think he is in the. Okay, thank you so much for the nice discussions and your valuable time. And we are our also focus in the Far Western and Karnali province, because there is much opportunity for the renewable energy. In other province, basically the national grid has already been in very near to go. So we are also focusing for the similar to SNV, and we after this meeting we will try to conduct contact with you for the specific program, what we we are doing and what we want to do. That's why after sometimes we are finalizing the innovative investment model for the private sector, because initially we are just supplying the renewable energy product, and after supplying there is no responsibility for the private sector for the renewable energy operation. So some area we faced some problem after sales service and other, which is not conducted by the user side. So now we realize for the sustainable implementation of the renewable energy. So we are trying to finalize the innovative investment model, and we are discussing with different organizations, experts, and the government and non-government agencies, and also we are in touch with the Nepal Rashtra Bank and Vishwabhushan Amate, who is the advisor of the Renewable Energy Confederation. He is supporting us for the conduction of this meeting and this issue. So thank you so much. We have near to finish. Thank you so much for your time and this discussion. Please keep in touch, and thank you. Now, okay.
Thank you. Thanks for organising. And yeah, let's continue discussing. If it would be good sometime in the future to have more and maybe expanded knowledge sharing. So yes, we look forward to speaking.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you again, all, for your time.
Have a good day.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.